Welcome everyone to the MEMSPA Minutes video series. This video is going to post on September 16th, but it's for the video series for September 16th through the 22nd. I'm your host, Mike Domagalski, and once again, I have the privilege of being the president of the Michigan Elementary and Middle School Principals Association for the 2021-22 school year. This MEMSPA video series that you're listening to or watching to is really just a conversation to drive ed leaders interested in improving our craft and collaborating together in order to tell you what MEMSPA is all about, what ed leadership's all about, because together we are better. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out the videos. We have videos posting every week. They post Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. on the hashtag MEMSPA chat on Twitter and on various social media platforms. Today, I am extremely honored to have our new MEMSPA chat team organized by my man, Viral Gilbert here on the screen. So I have Viral Gilbert. You can wave a little bit, Viral. There's Viral right there. I have Kathleen Quain on the screen as well. I have Evan Winkler right below me. I also have Jessica Harmon, and I also have Becca DeHane. So welcome to you five. I also want to highlight Timothy Lee and also Scott Panazzo, who could not make it to this meeting and this call, but they are also part of the MEMSPA chat team. It is our spectacular seven, I'd like to call you, but welcome MEMSPA chat team to this MEMSPA Minutes video series.
Mike, thanks for having us. We enjoy being here.
Awesome. And I've been talking to Viral about this for many years about taking over MEMSPA chat. That started back in 2014, and I'm sure we'll get into that conversation. But Viral's created an outstanding team here of leaders, and we'll get into that here in the next couple of minutes. But really, Viral, I'm gonna really hand it over to you first. Really, we're just gonna have an organic conversation. Viral, like from your perspective, and then we can talk to others as well. What is it about MEMSPA that draws you? What makes you become involved? So if you're talking to listeners out there about ed leadership, what is it about MEMSPA that people should know?
You know, I had two teachers who went on to be administrators, Jesse Zatkowski, who's our Dean of Students here at Davison, and then Kayla Dowdle, who's in Lapeer. And in talking with them, I mean, they asked me, really, what's the draw to MEMSPA? And I've shared with them that it's that connection. It's connecting with others from around the state who are in the same position that you're in, and knowing a little bit more about what education looks like, not just from your perspective in your district, but with others. I think the connections and the relationships are what's huge with this organization. I hope somebody will support me.
I would agree with Viral there. It's the people. I think the first thing that I thought of was the people. You just have a new sense of, you can just take on the world. You can do anything after you're all together with each other, like at the winter conference, or if it's the summer institute, or you call each other. You have people that connect with that are around the state, that you don't feel alone, because this can be a very lonely position, and this helps you just feel like you have a support system to help you get through it.
Yeah, and Evan Winkler, I know you're principal in Niles. I know that you've reached out to several people. We've texted a ton. Let me hand it over to Kathleen. Kathleen, you're in Marysville, correct?
Yes, I'm an elementary principal at Morton Elementary in Marysville. And my story, I kind of always like to share this too, especially for brand new principals with MEMSPA. I was a principal for almost 10 years before I learned about MEMSPA. And if I could do anything over, it would have been to be able to be a part of that group much sooner than I have been. So I'm so blessed. It's been career and life-changing for me to become a MEMSPA member after I was kind of already into my principalship. So I've learned so much and grown so much and made so many more connections. I think that Evan and Brill both mentioned. It's huge. The learning is amazing. The professional development is great, but the networking that you do outside of all of that is what's really made me a better leader. So.
Awesome. Becca?
Yeah, sort of going off of that, I am here in Saginaw Township. I am the upper elementary principal at Arrowwood Elementary. And that was one of the reasons that I was drawn to MEMSPA too, is just those connections. And I even started following MEMSPA chat when I was in my ed leadership through Oakland University, and just as a way to start to network and get to know what was out there. And just understand the complexities of the job. Like Evan said, it's very lonely here. And to be able to have that network all across the state that you can bounce ideas off of and be able to talk and share similar experiences. And I know personally, like after leaving the Summer Institute this year, I was just very recharged for the school year and ready to be an influencer. So
Awesome. And Becca, you mentioned that, and I'm going to go right to Jessica after this, but you mentioned you started to, pop on MEMSPA chat, and we'll talk about that in a minute. During your ed leadership, I'm assuming your master's degree, correct?
Actually my EDS.
Your EDS.
Yep.
I mean, that's great. As you're going through that next degree, you're still trying to become involved. And we're blessed to have Jessica Harmon on, who's an aspiring administrator, correct, Jessica?
Yes, and I joined it after doing the Aspiring Principals Academy in Wayne Risa, and it was exactly what Brill said. There were connections. I met people. I could add my own interest and add my own knowledge in there, and I got other people's perspectives. I've just learned so much that I would have to continue to do this because it's just so fulfilling, and you know what you're doing and you know what you're getting into.
Awesome. And thank you all for sharing. And once again, welcome, to the video series. Let's spend 2 or 3 minutes just talking about MEMSPA Chat. We started MEMSPA Chat as an association back in 2014. Really anybody, why do you join the chat? What have you gotten from the chat about the collaboration? What does MEMSPA Chat mean to you? This is the MEMSPA Chat team, like I said, along with Tim Lee and Scott Panazzo. But what is MEMSPA Chat all about? Why are you involved?
I kind of think of it as, we as an adults and as we try to teach our kids, it's a growth mindset. We're always trying to continue to learn and harvest ideas. We talked earlier about being a lonely job. This is a great place to connect. And in a half an hour, you can pick up a lot of ideas from a lot of different leaders across the state and aspiring leaders that can help you. Just those little nuggets that can just help you become a better leader and help create a great environment for our staff and for our kids.
Awesome.
Anyone else? Piggyback off of Evan, if that's all right. I think what I like about MEMSPA Chat too is that we always want to continue our learning, but as we all know, as principals, we're very busy, and it's really hard to sometimes actually go to professional development. So this is a quick 30 minutes comfort from your own home learning opportunity. And again, to continue that networking, I always think of it as an extension from that winter conference of MEMSPA. It's a way to reconnect. Sometimes it's just fun to say hi to a couple of the people that you've met along the way, reconnect with them, and then, as Evan said, you can walk away in 30 minutes with a lot of resources that can help you become that better leader.
But I think each week that I hop on, it's like I always walk away with something or some sort of connection or some other person now that I can reach out to. Just even the simple things of like ways to get organized, because as a leader, it's super hard to stay. I need to clean my desk off. I'm like looking around, I'm like, oh, but so even some of those just quick little nuggets, just to be able to walk away with and help us out.
Well, a lot of times we go to workshops, we go to conferences or summer leadership, right? And I was up, on stage in Kalamazoo, and what do we want from a conference? We want one takeaway, right? Because if we go into a conference and say, man, I need to flip the script, and I'm going to take 5-6 takeaways away, and I'm going to implement those in my build, it's too much, right? It's too much. So I think it's great hearing that, because what do we want from a conference or a workshop or MEMSPA Chat each week? We want one takeaway, right? What's one thing that can make us better, or maybe our building better, or we can just kind of influx just a little bit. So I'm glad to hear those things. Like I said, I'm really proud that you guys have taken that on. Viral?
I would just say that, it also works kind of the opposite way. I felt for me that there were people that I saw on MEMSPA Chat that once the conferences came, there was very little introduction that I had to do, because I had already kind of connected with them through the MEMSPA Chat. And then at the conference, it's not so isolating. You kind of help to connect with those people in person. So.
And I think also to validate some of your ideas that you have and things that you implement in your school, when you see other principals are saying, hey, I do this too. And it also makes it look like, I'm struggling with this. It's nice to see that other principals or leaders are struggling with it as well. Yeah, so it kind of gives you that sense of confidence, or, hey, okay, I'm on the right track.
Sure. One of the biggest things I've heard is, when I've presented on Twitter or MEMSPA Chat in the past, which has been, 10 times, I'm nervous. I'm nervous about putting myself out there. And I talked about this with Cindy Malik. I talked about it with John Wenstrom, a past president, Paul Liebenow. Every MEMSPA Minutes video series I've created so far, that's been something that everybody's brought up. Eric Cardwell, a big MEMSPA guy and former NAESP president last week, said, you know what? I just took a jump. Like, I didn't know I wanted to be MEMSPA president. I took a stab at it and I got it. And the first time he wanted to be NAESP president, he didn't get it. and he tried again and got it, So I guess my point is that's a worry for some people, is to say, well, this is what I'm doing in my building and I don't know if it's the right thing. But you know what? It's a positive atmosphere. It always has been. So if you have not checked out MEMSPA Chat on Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Twitter, please check it out. This is a great team working the chat, and it's a great platform for positive collaboration, communication, and an affirmation of what you're doing. So once again, I appreciate all you guys. You've done a wonderful job of taking it over and continuing that platform. Really quick, just going back to MEMSPA, let's set the collaboration aside, because if you've been to a conference, collaboration is huge. And, I remember so many people that I've never met before, and you go to a conference and I see them for the first time in person and I'm like, I know you, but, and then all of a sudden it's like your friends, right? So talk about that for a second. Like, what about MEMSPA in the collaboration aspect? Other than collaboration, can you talk about with why MEMSPA is important?
I know as a new leader, this is only my 4th school year, being a full-fledged principal, I guess, instead of just an AP. It's just really helped me. I know that I've gotten way more involved over the last year and a half, especially joining in with like Leadership Matters, and again, building that network, but just developing those skills that I need as an effective leader.
Awesome. Anyone else jump in?
And I would say that, MEMSPA provides that voice for principals in advocating in the legislature for things that are important to education. And so MEMSPA has been a great advocate for principals that way. I also think back to, something that I don't know that everybody likes to talk about, but the liability insurance that the MEMSPA provides. I think of it like insurance. You don't know that you need it until something happens. And so we always prepare for the best. But I think that's something that's important for people who are interested in joining MEMSPA to know that those things are out there for principals.
Yeah, and Jessica, I know as an aspiring principal, you said you went to the Aspiring Principals Academy in Wayne Risa. How was that experience? I'm going to put you on the spot here. How was that experience for you, and what makes you want to be that aspiring principal? Because when you do become a principal, or as Verl said before this call happened, you're superintendent someday. We of course want you on the MEMSPA team, but what made you want to do that Aspiring Principals Network, or maybe potentially become a MEMSPA member?
Honestly, I didn't think I wanted to be a principal ever. And then one day I was brought into a team and I started seeing connections within my district. I started seeing ways of helping kids without spending a ton of money, without trying to think and innovate new ways. And I started helping all my colleagues do things with Google and Microsoft and everything. I worked with Verl on the admin chats that we did during COVID. And I started seeing myself more as a leader because of those things. And I was so inspired. The ideas just kept coming. And that's kind of been how it's worked with MEMSPA as well. When I'm in the chat, or when I'm talking to all of you, or when I'm thinking about different ways to work, different things for MEMSPA Chat, or when I was at the conference back when Adam Welcome was there, I just kept thinking, there's so many cool ways and there's so many great ideas. It just was inspiring and brought me to the idea that I would make a pretty good principal one day. And if nothing else, a really great teacher leader. So I want to be there for my kids and I want to help them. And this has helped me grow. And I would recommend the Aspiring Principals Academy, but I would also recommend this opportunity to any of the inspiring principals, because there's so many ideas and so many people, and also so many different ways of growing yourself.
Absolutely. And, I could attest to what you said at the beginning, to where you weren't even sure if that's what you wanted to do. I got into teaching, many years ago, and I didn't even think about the principalship. And I was approached and said, yeah, you need to get an ed leadership master's degree. Okay. Didn't know what that meant, but I went for it. So And then here we are, right? So you never know what your path might be. Some people, graduate with their undergrad and that's their goal. I did not have that goal. I wanted to teach and I wanted to coach, and I fell into it, and I have a passion for it now. I have a passion for leadership, and I just want to continue to take a jump and challenge myself and also work with others. And I've noticed that with MEMSPA, it gives you that platform to have all of those opportunities to lead, to grow, to collaborate, to bank on someone, to know that you're not on an island. Verl mentioned liability insurance. I mean, there's so many things that MEMSPA provides that I wanted to just be more involved. So I do appreciate everybody sharing their stories, and I appreciate all you're doing with MEMSPA Chat. Once again, MEMSPA Chat is Thursday, 8 p.m. on Twitter. Is there anything else you'd like to share? I'm going to give you the platform here. Let's start with Verl and then kind of just go around, and anything else you want to share, maybe beginning of the school year, or maybe a shout out or whatever you'd like to do before we end the call. So Verl, take it away.
Of course, I'd like to give a shout out to the team and being part of this team. As we talked prior to recording here, and to you, Mike, that just the things that you did in the past 7 years on your own with Taryn, that we've kind of all tried to divvy up together. It's pretty amazing to see where MEMSPA Chat has come, and that we have such a great team. I'm very honored to be part of this team, and wanted to thank you for the work that you've done to help MEMSPA Chat become as successful as I think it is today.
Awesome. Thanks. Becca?
I'm just happy to be a part of the team and be able to continue to build on, what you got started, Mike. Same as Verl.
Awesome. Evan?
Yeah, I definitely appreciate Verl reaching out and connecting us all together. I think it's definitely been a great learning experience. And I would just say, if jump out there, take a chance, like Mike said earlier, and do it, because I think you'll find it's a really great experience. And if you have a hard time thinking about questions, that's why we have a team to help us. And another great reason to join MEMSPA is there's just great people that are here to help. When it comes to Paul and Cindy and Annette and Taryn and Mike, just all the leadership people. I just feel anytime you connect with any of them, you just feel more inspired that you can do a better job for your kids. So just keep doing your job this school year. We got another tough task as you look ahead to this school year, as COVID is still here. So just keep reaching out to people and, do a great job for our kids.
Well said. Kathleen?
All the things everyone said, for sure. And again, a big thank you to both you, Mike, and Verl for getting this whole thing up and running, and Verl for having me be a part of this team. I also just want to do a quick shout out to our region people too. One thing I learned with MEMSPA is to get involved with your region. I didn't even know what my region was initially. So I know there's region presidents out there, and we're looking to really reconnect our regions and then do some collaboration that way too. So MEMSPA is a great avenue to do that as well.
Awesome. Jessica, let's take it away. Aspiring principal Jessica.
I just want to give a shout out to all the principals and administration that inspired me and that have brought me to where I am today, and Verl for bringing me onto this team, and Cindy for bringing me into aspiring principals. I just really appreciate everything everyone did, and anyone who is thinking about becoming a principal, get involved with MEMSPA. It's been really great, and it'll give you a really good idea of what you might be getting into, and you might become some awesome person and awesome teacher that makes a difference in other teachers' lives.
Awesome. And well said by everyone. Jump in. We're all sitting here for a particular reason. We all have different paths, but we're all sitting here because we jumped into something, whether it was teaching, principalship, MEMSPA the association, a MEMSPA Chat team. You took a chance, right? You're inspired by something. And that's what we are as leaders and educational leaders, is we're inspired by something. We want to make that impact. And us as leaders, we want to make a bigger impact. And we continue from there. We continue to grow. So thank you for leading the way you are. Thank you for taking MEMSPA Chat to the next level. I appreciate all of you. Once again, thank you for your time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in as well. Remember the MEMSPA Minutes video series posts at 8:30 p.m. on MEMSPA Chat and also other social media platforms. Follow the YouTube channel MEMSPA TV. Subscribers are subscribing every week, so we're really appreciative of that. But you can listen to this, you can watch it. Please share it with your friends, share the link out, and we appreciate all of you about what's happening. about listening to what's happening in MEMSPA and also in ed leadership as a whole. So thank you so much. Remember, we are all principals leading learning, and we are all better together. So thank you for everyone on the panel, and thank you to everyone tuning in. Check us out next week on the MEMSPA Minutes video series.